Hello and welcome to the SBR Megane Trophy Series, brought to you in association with PJ Parcels for all your bespoke delivery and collection needs. Let's take a look at the grid for round one. We have Ollie from Jordan, from Luke, from Matt, from Declan, from Ryan, from Nick, from Jamie. Then there's Brian, Dylan and Mark there, bringing up the rear of the field. Let's take a look at the highlights from race one. They are on the grid here, waiting for the lights. They are red. They wait, the reds rise, and they are away. A slow start there for Luke. Unfortunately, off of third place there, it looks like he's already lost out to Matt, who's up into third. Round into the Paddock Hill dip, as some people like to call it. We've got three wide into the hairpin. That looked like Dylan was a little bit loose on the inside there of Nick. And Nick and Ryan fighting already. Jamie up the inside of Nick there. Nick going backwards at the moment, back behind Brian as well. As Ryan now seems to try and take a bit of a commanding position ahead of the rear of the pack. And now after Dylan, it looks like. Down the hill into the braking zone at the back of the Grand Prix circuit. And Dylan, now pulling that little bit away from Ryan as Ollie and Jordan fight it out for the lead. Matt in close contention, looking for a chance to pull himself up through the field that little bit more. But Ollie and Jordan very, very quick, coming round back down towards the traditional circuit. Jordan having a look round the outside here of Ollie. Don't think that one's going to work just there. Jamie's on the grass, unfortunately, running wide. Yep, he's in the gravel. Unfortunately, as soon as you touch that grass there, you lose all the grip, and it's almost like a postcard straight to that scene of the gravel. As we go back round to turn one, and Luke's off in the gravel. This has not been a great start. There's someone else there. Is that Declan as well at the rear? It's not been a great start for Luke, unfortunately, in race one here, as we see Brian now coming under a bit of pressure from Nick here, as Nick tries to recover from a really poor start where he just seemed to go backwards, just got shuffled out through the pack. But now putting a bit of pressure up on Brian there, up the inside. Can he get the momentum out of the corner, down the straight, out onto the Grand Prix circuit? Nick's going to try and go around the outside. It looks like he might just have the momentum coming down the hill, and Nick's going to grab the position off of Brian. An extra position gain for him there as we flick back up towards the front guys. And we've still got Jordan trying to push Ollie that little bit harder, so hard in fact. Jordan's going to run two wheels under the grass, and Matt's now closing up. Now Jordan's going to take all four wheels under the grass. That's going to give Matt a chance to catch up towards the rear as we look back at Ryan and Dylan. Ryan's going to go up the inside. Something's not right with Dylan. A poor qualifying for him. He can't be happy in the Megane this time round. Something's just not right with him this round. Something's not clicked for him, unfortunately. As we go back and have a look at the two who spun the lap previous, we've got Declan and Luke fighting together. Luke now up the inside of Declan, but runs wide. That's going to allow Declan the chance to have the space back. He has got it. Luke's going to flick to the inside, what will become the outside. Decides better of it, back in for a bit of slipstream. Out onto the Grand Prix circuit yet again. Down the hill, into the braking zone. Small touch between the two. Declan sideways. He's grabbed hold of the slide and actually pulled away from Luke that little bit. Maybe Luke just letting off, knowing he'd caused an issue there for the driver, and just going, "I am sorry," holding his hands up and just pulling back that little bit. As we go back up to the front guys, and we've got Jordan still trying to catch Ollie. Jordan's a little bit loose. He's put two wheels on the grass, and that's pushed him out wide. That's allowed Matt up into second place. Jordan's got to be quick out here, otherwise he's going to be caught by Ryan and Dylan, who's off wide himself again. We slip back to Luke and Declan. Luke up the inside again this time. down the start finish straight. Declan will tuck back in surely to get that slipstream down into the first corner. As we flick to Dylan now, who's dropped back massively after that run wide from Ryan, and is now actually being caught by Nick. Oh, and Dylan goes off wide. Something's really not right with that setup of the Megane for him. Off wide into the gravel, and losing the place to Nick yet again. Now we've got Jordan, who's a bit loose again, trying to push that a little bit too hard to catch up with Ollie maybe, and Matt, who's up into second, pulling. He's actually dropped back down into the clutches of Ryan. Dylan loose into the connection between the Indy and the Grand Prix circuit. Luke's now catching him massively. We've said it before, and I'll say it again. Something's not right with Dylan in that Megane this time round. He was one of the top guys last season, actually finishing 4th in the league, just missing out on promotion, but certainly not happy this time round. He loses another position there to Luke, who's up the inside. Not normally a position for an overtake there, but something really unsettling that Megane. And we've got Matt now, who's doing his best, but unfortunately off into the barriers. That's allowed Jordan back into second place, and Matt's now going to slip down towards the clutches of Brian, a little bit loose and wide coming out Sheen curve, putting 2 wheels on the grass, just about keeping it on the apex, and the rumble strip coming out of there, and Luke's now going to do the same thing by the looks of it. That's allowed Dylan to catch back up. He thinks about going up the inside, a slight touch pushes Luke wide, and Dylan really does hold his hands up this time. My bad, lets Luke have his position. As we see now Ryan putting a bit of pressure onto Matt, coming round the final corner onto the start-finish curve, if you like, at Brands Hatch. It's not exactly straight, it's most certainly banked. Matt spending a penalty there and giving the place up to Ryan. Ryan up into 3rd place now. Dylan yet again fighting with Luke, still a little bit loose, and out wide again. A second trip into the kitty litter there for him. Not great, and now Brian's going to semi-follow and spin a nice pirouette from Brian, but at the bottom of Paddock Hill, not ideal, but it's a known place. And as they get back underway, he starts to try and reel in Mark, who's grabbed his chances, and Jamie there recovering from his spin on lap 1 on the final corner. Jamie piling a bit of pressure onto Brian this time. Coming up towards Sheen, the slight lift or brake depending on how you're feeling. If you're feeling confident, you'll go right the way through without touching the brake. Looks like what Brian has done, he's pulled away from Jamie that little bit and actually caught Mark a fraction as they come under the bridge back to the Indy circuit and round the final corner. Up the start finish straight, can Brian put a bit of pressure onto Mark and actually catch and gain that gap? Let's ride on ball with Brian now down into Paddock. This is a much bigger drop in real life. If you've ever actually managed to get into Brands Hatch, that's a huge drop. The onboard car camera does no justice to just how big a drop that is. Brian continues round Graham Hill bend, trying to close that gap up on Mark. Slightly later breaking 2 different lines here. Mark keeping it in nice and tight. Brian going out a bit wider. That's going to give Brian the better run out the corner. Hopefully in the slipstream be able to close the gap as they go out towards the back end of the circuit. Let's take a look back out of the cars, and he is definitely closer this time. It could be Sheen that gives Brian his opportunity. As we talk about Sheen, we see Ollie on the approach just getting it all wrong, unfortunately, running out wide. And that's just allowed Jordan to disappear off into the distance. As we see both Ryan and Matt now up with Ollie. That really has cost Ollie dearly, that spin there. Just getting it all wrong as they approach the furthest point of the circuit, and really losing 2 spots and almost a third to Matt. But he'll certainly put the pressure back on. He'll clean those tyres up, which they will be. They'll be fully back up to temperature now. And let's see if he can put a bit of pressure onto Ryan and pull away from Matt at all. Matt thinks about having a look into Paddock Hill, but decides better of it. As they come up to the hairpin, and Ryan looked a little bit wide going into the entry, but he's managed to pull it back nicely for the apex. And now Ollie pulling away that little bit now from Matt. That's just what he wants to do. See if he can put that bit of pressure onto Ryan. And a little later, we see he has fully caught Ryan up. As we see Mark and Brian, Mark's out wide and spun, unfortunately, just succumbing to that pressure that Brian was putting on. He knew it was coming, he just had to keep pushing and pushing and pushing. And now Ollie's on the back of Ryan, a slight tap going round Paddock Hill bend. Matt's going to seize his opportunity to go up the inside of the hairpin. Does he? Just about. No, Ollie's going to keep it round the outside. That's going to give him the inside line for Graham Hill bend. He keeps the position and focuses fully now again on Ryan. He's going to have a look round the back of the circuit, bumper to bumper, everywhere on for these two. Ollie tap on Ryan's bumper, rear bumper, and then getting a tap himself on the rear bumper from Matt. He's going to try and go round the outside this time with Ryan. Is that a good idea? Ryan says, yeah, okay, we'll do this. Matt looks left, looks right. Can he find a gap as these two go side by side? Ollie up the inside of Ryan this time, just about takes the position, and Matt goes, I'll have some of this, thank you very much. Up the inside of Ryan as well, and does just about get the move completed by the time they hit the start-finish line. And now he thinks about having the same go at Ollie. Thinks better of it, pulling out the move into turn one, back to the rear of the circuit again, and it's still these three all together. There's no separating them. Ollie's just pulling that little bit further away now from Matt, just getting that edge, but that's not going to help. Two wheels on the grass sideways, and Matt's going to come back alongside him. Ollie actually uses Matt to keep himself on track. Ryan's got so excited he's gone sideways. Matt's gotten completely off circuit due to Ollie, but slight racing incident if anything. But Matt's kept that third position so far from Ryan. They put another lap in the books, and Ollie is now just starting to ease that little bit of a gap. Maybe the off track excursion has helped him pull away that little bit. As we look back at Nick, who's been caught by Luke this time, and Luke has done superbly after two excursions earlier on into the gravel. He caught Nick up fantastically. He's going to challenge Nick, it looks like, for fifth place, sorry, in the closing stages. As we come round the left-hander, you can see the guys ahead fighting, but there's Jordan, flash of the lights. He takes victory in race one across the line. As we wait for the rest, who's going to come home in second? It looks like it will be Ollie, and it's anyone's guess for third. It is Matt, and then Ryan, and then we've got Nick and Luke just behind. Fantastic. Unfortunately, it has been confirmed to us though that Matt has been given a 15-second time penalty for serving his penalties in the wrong position, so that's going to drop him out of third place. That's actually going to promote Ryan up into third. As we see Mark recovering from his spin earlier, coming across the line to take the checkered flag, and then it's just a case of checking where Dylan is. He's in the pits. He's in the pits. That's going to be a non-finish for him. So the results, we have Jordan from Ollie, from Ryan, from Nick, from Lewis, from Matt, from Declan, and then Jamie there in 8th place. We look towards the lower section of the field, and we get Brian from Mark, and then obviously Dylan finishing 2 laps down in the pits. Unfortunately, there are 5 others unable to start this race. Some major issues for them. We hope you enjoyed that race, and we look forward to seeing you for race 2 very soon.